I'm gonna slide by you there. Excuse me. How's your eye? Yeah. Didn't you have your eye in there? Oh. Are you a Bradford? I heard there was rumors that you were a Bradford. Did you change your name, Protect the Innocent? Cyril. I'm Tom, Cyril. Good to meet you.
Welcome all of you here tonight. We especially want to thank Reverend John Baker and Billy for being with us and for seem like were asking me where I should put their bags. It was at that time that I came to the conclusion that there was something direly wrong with the youth in America. They would ask me stuff about this fine uniform, but several people since then have told me that I do kind of look like a doorman or a waiter, and it's not because of the uniform, it's just because of the way I act. I wrote a toast here tonight to Fred. This is the first time I've ever been asked to be a best man at somebody's wedding, and I took it as a very good honor. I tried to scribble some stuff down here, and I had a real hard time. Most of my friends would tell you that I very rarely have a hard time finding something to say. Most of what I say is not worth a lot, but I usually fill the air. So I told Fred when I got up there, Fred, I'm having a hard time coming up with a good toast for you. And I said, Fred, what it is, I think we're such good friends that it is, the better the friend you are, the harder it is to actually come out and say something important. And Fred was driving down the road at this time, and I was sitting beside him. He didn't even look over at me. He goes, well, McCarty, probably less you say, the better off we'll all be. I took that as a hint, and so I will keep it brief tonight and pass it forward to people who have something more to say. But first off, I would like to say again, I'm very honored to be here and to be able to call Mr. Fred Serrell my friend, and I'm very humbled to have been asked to be in this meeting and to be in front of all these people. It is a very moving experience for me. I'd like to toast Fred Serrell because he's very special to me. Fred Serrell would do anything in the world for me, including, and most importantly, he'll look me in the eye and tell me when I'm wrong. Graham's looking over here at me and saying, yeah, and he has to do that quite a bit. Right? Okay? But that's the kind of friend Fred is. And that is what most of his friends will tell you, is that Fred Serrell is one and only. He is always Fred Serrell. You never meet a different person when you come up and talk to him. And if there's something to be said for being a friend, it's that you're consistent with your friend. And Fred is always that. So I toast Fred for that. I toast Beverly. First, because she is an absolutely enchanting young lady. Very beautiful, very charming. Almost as charming as my dear wife. Water now. I came out of that. But secondly, I toast Beverly because she makes my friend Fred so happy. And she fills up his life. And I see a difference in Fred and Fred's with Beverly. And if Fred's happy, I'm happy. And I'm also happy that not only does she make Fred happy, but Beverly, I know that Beverly's my friend. Toast her for that. Finally, I'd like to toast their wedding, which I perceive to be just the next step in what has been and what is and what will continue to be a truly blessed and a truly magical relationship. So on the glass here, I ask everyone to lift up their glass. Let's toast the wedding of Fred and Beverly. It's a truly magical wedding.
Here, here.
Here. Now I'd like to pass the floor to
I'd like to begin by making a toast to two of my very, very special friends, and by saying that I hope this marriage brings you all the happiness and the love and the joy that possibly could, and that both of you mean more to me than you will ever know. And we raise our glasses to Beverly and Fred tonight, not only to their special day, but to their long life ahead and his best wishes to come. We raise our glasses to Beverly and Fred. Dear Miss Beverly and dear Mrs. Fred, now there's a topic that a lot can be said. It all began not too long ago in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina. It didn't take us much time to figure out just what this friendship was going to be all about. Well, we started out each evening with good intentions in mind, but throughout the night we would lose track of time. Between the quarterdeck with drinks at 5, we would usually end up at some local dive, either Ruby's on the Roof, so Harry's, or the Inn, when we might even wind up the evening with a little slam dancing at Jim's. Well, as the night went on and the bars closed down, there was usually just a little more mischief for us in that town. So we loaded up the cars and we went for a ride. Now, some of us after that night have quite a bit to hide, now that they have a record on their side. Well, we had to think fast,
and we usually did. Especially when that sheriff said, "Ma'am, please lift up that lid." We aren't bad girls, honest we're not. But, well, I think we had definitely been caught. Now, let me see, we can't forget our dear little friend we sometimes call Chet. She's known for her connections and sponsors, do tell. Why, it's none other than that wow Michelle.
Just a few more things I'd like to add, like back at Bama and some of the good times we've had. There's been so much. Where should I begin? Like at the Sig Up House. Where she left where she left her heart. When weekends came around, that was always out of town. Off to a miss she'd run to seek that special one. The books were never at our reach because we were always road tripping to the beach. Donna Ross were the tunes we liked best, especially right after failing the test. The RAs were always on our back because we were so destructive and ever so slack. Well, Alabama we left behind and headed towards that South Carolina line. Many unforgettable summers we did have, all of them good, but especially when we were bad.
Well, this preppy young girl that I soon did meet, she seemed awfully quiet. Boy, was I in for a treat. She's probably the type to head straight for the books. Shortly, I discovered it was only the boys with good looks. We became such good friends in no time at all. If there was ever a party, she never hesitated to call. There were many young men along the way, but don't worry, Bev. There's much we won't say. It's just too bad we had to all move away. Though keeping in touch, I knew from the start that someone in Chucky had captured her heart.
Well, time went on, and one day when I was all alone, I got this call on the telephone, and it was Beverly, and she said, "Hey, I met this guy, his name is Fred."
We thought this was great, and we told her so, but there was just a few things that we had to know. Like, was this guy cute, and did he have cute friends? And were these guys boys, or were they really men?
Well, the bees got restless, and she shortly said, "I believe it is time for us to be wed. It's a ring, or else, Fred, I'll be on my way, and this is the last thing I have to say." With that, Fred knew he had not much choice. Aquamarines wouldn't do. With the diamonds, she'd rejoice. So he got down on his knee, careful not to fall, and asked her to marry him. She was the fairest of them all. Now, there's not much more than that we can say, but we wish you the best of luck in each and every way.
Beverly and Fred.
Beverly, can I get you to stand, please?
I don't think so. Yes, we do. I think so. Stand up.
Miss Bradford, can I get you to come stand beside Beverly, please?
Y'all are going to throw anything.
Yeah.
Nice toast,
Fred, if I could I get you to stand in between Beverly and her mother? Beverly, could you please extend your left hand?
Oh,
Here? Yes. Miss Bradford, could you please put your hand over Beverly's? Fred, could you please place your hand over the top of both of theirs? I'd like everybody in this room to have a careful look at this, because I know it's the first and it's definitely the last time Fred will ever have the upper hand.
There's only a couple people in this room that understands why I'm wearing my napkin like this. It's actually me, Fred, and Mr. Searle. one of you two. I've known Fred a long time, and Linda, I'd like to say thank you. That was going to be my joke.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, it really was. When I was bargaining for somebody else, I heard of another wedding. Fred's been a good friend of mine for a long time. We've been through a lot of thick and thin. Most of it thick. When I first met Fred, I had to get him through orangeberry or strawberry or some kind of fruit. And that was a rough time for us, wasn't it, Fred?
Yes, sir.
Me and Ed and Ma standing back there, we had to go over. Fred wanted to de-pledge our fraternity over a young lady. And she had him all hooked up, hemmed up in an apartment. But that didn't stop us. We marched right over there and got Fred out and saved him.
The true American warrior.
She wasn't going to be happy because Fred bought her an aquamarine, so. Everybody's been so nice, I had to stir up something. But then there's Beverly, who's a very good friend of mine, and she really doesn't know that I know that she told a couple of friends, her and Fred were kind of broken up at the time, and, having a little problem. She said, I don't care if he does give me a dime. I'm not going to take it. No way. I'm not going to take it at all. Beverly, did you change your mind? Yeah. Oh. There's really nothing bad I can say about these two folks. They're some of my very best friends. Fred's been good to me all through the years. I'd just like to everybody raise their glass and toast. Here to Fred Searle and the soon-to-be Beverly Searle.
Excuse me, fellas. I didn't think Fred was ever going to ask her. I swear. Keith and I were quite concerned that he was going to let this one get away, and we just couldn't believe it. And we stayed on him and stayed on him. We asked him every time we saw him when we thought he might propose a question. And Fred called me one evening about 1 in the morning and said, "Gray Dog, I'm engaged." And I said, "Cyril, you're lying. Call me in the morning. We'll talk about it in the morning." He said, "I'm engaged." He was the happiest guy that I talked to in quite some time, and I was very happy to hear that he went to make that step. I agree with Keith. When I went to prepare my presentation tonight, and I do that for a living. I make speeches to a lot of large groups, but when I started to prepare my presentation tonight, I found it quite difficult because Fred is such a very good friend of mine. I didn't know what to say, so every time I tried to write something down, I felt it was very difficult to put something down to read to these people that mean so much to me. So I'm just going to go from the cuff and say that I was lucky I was a couple years older than Fred. And when he came to the fraternity house, I've seen him grow in a lot of ways that I feel quite happy that I could be there and see him grow. He was a tentative man when I first met him, and now he's quite opposite. He's grown in a lot of ways.
Good speech. Good speech,
A few things that we experienced together, I guess, were the A-frame. We had some good times up the A-frame in Norris. The Fiji house. We had a couple of good times over here in Greeneville with Mr. Jim Cox, I think, was our master of ceremony that evening. We've really had some great times, some times that have built our relationship into something that I feel like, I feel just honored to be a part of this group. So, being at a loss for words, I'm just going to finish it saying that I think a man's wealth is measured by the strength of his family and the friends that he makes over his life. It's hard. It's hard. My God, this is tough, but when you gotta have the floor, though, you gotta shine, right? So, I think we, as a group, meeting these guys that attended UT together, and I guess the whole group that's here tonight, we have so much to be thankful for by being a part of these people's lives. So I like to challenge them and say that they need to realize their own talents, and they need to build on them as a couple now, not as individuals, and carry their family forward. So here's a toast to Beverly, who I'm very glad to get to know. Is this long enough, by the way?
I think they're trying to cut you short.
I just can't say enough, you know, and I'm not saying a damn thing. Here's to you, Fred and Bev. And by the way, I want to thank the Searles too. I wanted to start and say that the hospitality has been wonderful. I know there's a lot of planning involved, and ever since we've arrived, everything has been measured to the T, and I appreciate that. Here's to the future. Many children.
First of all, Mr. and Miss Sarah, this used to be my roommates. My name's James Fowler. And back when we were taking history of rock and roll together, we studied so hard. Kept your sons at grade point average up. Made him just graduate with the highest honors. First of all, thank you for a great evening. And the Bradfords too. Me and Freddie's been through a lot together. Some was good, some was bad. Some was throwing bottles, some was not. We raided every fraternity house on campus, destroyed every fraternity house on campus. We broke pool sticks at the Sig F house. I heard somebody talking Sig F house earlier. We broke bottles at the Lambicott house. But we always had a good time. It's that friendship, that male bonding.
Yeah.
We really weren't after the women. We were just after that male bonding, that friendship that brought us all together. You can see how lovely a group of guys we are. From the back streets of Nashville to the mountains of Greeneville, we stick together. But we've had a good time, and I don't know what to say. I'm privileged to be here. It's an honor. She's cracking me up. It's, I know, she's... Let me get it over with. I'm very embarrassed to do this. I'm not good at this. But I'd just like to say you got a fine son and you got a fine daughter, Mr. Bradford. And the best of luck to both of you. I say toast to them all.
Here. Thanks, Jake. Thanks a lot, bud.
Well, as many people here know, Beverly and I didn't get along very well as younger people. But I think, though neither one of us would admit it at the time, it was due largely in part because of the concern we have for each other and how we want the best for each other. And I just want to say to Fred that anyone who can make my sister as happy as she is now is a truly unique individual.
every sister's dread. No, that wouldn't work either. So I really had a hard time deciding what I was going to do. And as several of the people in this room may know, Fred and I, as children, fought like cats and dogs. And there were many times that my mother and Marge Salisbury and so on had to pull us apart. But a funny thing happened. We became very good friends. I'm so excited that Fred has found somebody to make him so happy because he's a neat guy and he's done a lot for me. Thank you.
Get me all choked up here. We'd like to hear from Mr. Jim Cox.
I've probably known these two probably longer than anybody. Yeah, anybody on this table. Me and a special friend took these two skiing one time, and they got together. And I never thought they'd end up in this. I'm not against it, I'm very glad of it, but all I can say is Merry Christmas.
Mr. Sarah, you have something you'd like to say?
First of all, Barbara and I would like to welcome the Bradfords into our family. I think we're very fortunate to be able to associate with such a nice family and heard from such fine people. I think, Fred, you made a very good selection. We're proud of you, buddy. I don't think the Bradfords have to worry about Searles dropping in for dinner so much. We drove up there 2 or 3 times. Every time I went up there, I got lost. The last time Barbara and I went up, I said, Barbara, please bring a bag of beans with you. We did. You know, during the last several months, you read in the Greeneville Sun and so forth, there was a lot of parties going on in Greeneville. There were showers, luncheons, dinners, and so forth, and all of this was published in the paper and so forth. And it's nice to see. But every time I saw one of these things in the paper, it meant another dress. Another pair of shoes. You know, women don't, when they get a new dress, they can't, they gotta have another pair of shoes. That's that dress. And then the jewelry, you know, that don't match that dress. So they gotta get another. So it goes on and on. They've always told me, said, Freddie, now, you've already got one girl in your family who's gone. You don't have to worry anything. The Bradfords will take care of this and take care of that, so you're home free. I've been kind of thinking about that, but I thought about that. Because after all these things, the other day I called up Mr. Whitfield, president of this much amount of money. And he said, ooh, that's a lot of money. He said, you're going to have a guarantee. And I said, well, now who am I going to use for a guarantee? I said, you know, we got some new in-laws. I said, how about Dr. Bob Bradford? And he said, I said, what's the matter? He said, you know, he was in here 15 minutes ago. It's the same thing you were. So I dropped that thing right there. Anyhow, you know, it was Amy and Fred are 23 months apart in age. And it's ironical because 23 months ago tonight, we were in here talking about Amy. Exactly 23 months ago. I didn't realize that until the other day, but it really is. And as some of you here were here for the rehearsal dinner when Amy and Andy were married, I gave a little speech here. And there's a few of you here that were here that night, and quite a few of you were not. But a lot of the things that I said about Amy are true about Fred. They grew up together, and they went through a lot of their experiences together as two children, and within the same age group grew up. They had the same friends and so forth, the same experience and so forth. And as some of you wrote poems here tonight, I think they were very descriptive of your experiences with Fred and Beverly. I also thought I was a poet, and I started to write, and I said this thing. I think John and Billy may remember my speech, Saul Curry, and a few that were here that evening. I didn't think I would write a poem, so I went over to the office where it was quiet one evening. I didn't want all this noise around the house, so I went over to the office where it was quiet, and it was quiet. Nobody there but the janitor, a few mice running around the floor, and everything like that. And I started writing a poem about Amy, and it's so I wrote, and I got 3 or 4 pages written. I was just going like fire, really writing as fast as I could write. And after I filled up 2 or 3 pages, she wasn't through kindergarten yet. Rick Scott was supposed to be a long poem, so I said, well, the heck with it, we'll just cut it off. And instead of a poem, I just picked out a few of the key words, and you all can use your own imagination. You know what I'm talking about, because you've all been through the same things. And remembering Fred's birth, first time that the boy said, Daddy, it's a big thing for us. When he attended kindergarten, and he got the measles, chicken pox, took piano lessons, joined the Cub Scouts, went to camp, and braces for his teeth, our good times at the beach, his pet hermit crab, and the funeral for our dog. That was a big time for us. Birds and the bees. Remember that story, John? Birds and the bees. We talked about last time. Birds and the bees. Yes. High school. Besides, the minute you get in high school, you got a car, right? You go past the Greeneville High School. There's 500 some students there. There's 550 cars. When we went through Depression, there was 2 cars. Well, that's a different thing. Anyhow, then there was junior prom, high school graduation, college, and the fraternity with all you Henry and Keith and all y'all fraternity and so forth. And then Fred joined the Austin Company, and then met Beverly. And that's just about where we're here today. One thing about joining the Bradford family, as you notice, Bob has an awful lot of hair, and Pat has an awful lot of hair. Sam there has quite a bit. I'm not counting you out either, Robert. And Fred and I look like we were, I don't know, we're kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel here. So I thought here tonight that to even up things a little bit. Look out for me here.
first grade, believe it or not, and Beverly's always been the kind of friend that always offered unconditional love. She was always there, no matter what.
To most of you here is not what we see on the surface, not how we appear in a designer dress or suit, but what's inside of us. Because the message of that story was that what is essential is invisible to the eye. And I want you to remember that too. I toast you on that basis.
Yeah.
Gentleman at the center table, are you ready to stand up? Sir, would you like to say?
Yes, I did want to say one thing. I knew this probably leading to a very serious event. A few years ago, we were down in Mullins, South Carolina, right in the middle of the hot summer. And the ones with Austin Company working very hard and trying to make our living at what we do 7 days a week. And at that time, Fred was there, and he came in on Friday, just wringing his hands and everything, and he wanted to say something, and finally said, "Well, Fred, what do you want?" He said, "I really need to be off tomorrow afternoon, Saturday." He said, "You think it'll be all right?" I said, "Well, little Fred, you know that we work 7 days a week down here." I said, "I'm sure, you know. Why do you need to be off?" He said, "Well, tell you what, we have a band waiting in the wings for us here tonight. It's getting kind of late. And this has been a very humbling experience for me. It's very hard to stand here and say too much right now. But I would like to thank everyone who has become friends of Beverly and I over the past 4 years we've been dating, and the past year that we've been engaged, for everything that they've done for us. People have done some very, very nice things for us. And it's also great to see so many close friends here in this room tonight, and so many family members that we don't get to see very often here tonight. It's very special for us to have all of you here. And I'll leave it at that. But I want all of you to know that aside from all the parties and all the get-togethers and all the friendships, the reason that I'm here tonight is because of my commitment to Beverly. I love you, Beverly.
Miss Sarah, I believe that'll be all.
Ray, hey. Anyhow, Ray said that you play here to midnight here, so they'll move a few tables out, and Ray does play all kinds of music. Some for you old fogies, some for you middle-aged folks, some for you young folks. So he plays all kinds of music, and he said that any of you want to request any particular number, he'd be glad to play it for you. But he'll be here to midnight, so let's have a good time. And thanks for coming. This is a lovely thing for